I always ask it at the end of a prompt. Give me 2 better versions of this prompt. Ask which I prefer. I don't always ask which do you think is stronger and why, but for this one, I did. So let me switch to the output. It didn't fit on this PowerPoint. Let's switch to that screen. So here is the output that Copilot provided. It told me that your original prompt is good. Thank you, Copilot. Didn't ask. But then it gave me 2 different versions of my prompt. One is research focused, and the other is executive benchmark focused. And if we go further down, Copilot's assessment of that is it preferred option 2. And it gave me why it's stronger. It says it's focused on outcomes, high adoption and strong outcomes, which naturally filters for successful programs. It also asks how feedback was operationalized and scaled, not just collected. This tends to uncover governance, champion networks, communities of practice, office hours, feedback surveys, success stories, campaigns, and measurement frameworks, which are often most valuable insights for enterprise rollout. It gave me the best use case for this. And then it gave me potential improvements that I didn't ask for, but thank you anyway, Copilot. So that is my contribution to this exchange. I like to ask Copilot how to ask it to get the best results. So whoever wants to go next, just raise your hand and we will go in the order of the hands raised. We are recording this session so you can view it or others can view it who couldn't attend today. So don't be shy. I know the champions aren't shy. If you have anything to show, to display that can help someone or that you need help with, just go ahead and raise your hands and we will go in the order of the hands raised. If you have any questions about this exchange, just go ahead, come on the mic or drop it in the chat. I see Martin has his hand up and some hands going up.
Yeah, so I've got a quick one. I haven't got anything to share or demonstrate, but one thing I have done a couple of times is, especially when getting output, I simply put into the prompt, make this sound not AI generated. So sometimes you can tell from a mile away, right, how something's AI generated. So by simply putting it into your prompt and your output, make this not sound AI generated can make it feel a little bit more unique and human. So that's just something that I've done a couple of times. Just wanted to share that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's awesome. And Anderson, I see your hand up next.
Yeah, let me share my screen real quick. I've been using that a lot for like Word documents. Let me know if you can see my screen, but I have this letter that I was preparing to close the project. And basically I have 2 models that are covered and the issues are similar. So I have this model TLS here and those clauses that are applicable to this model. And here down below, I also have this other model with similar writing, change a few things like some numbers. And I've been requested to combine those models. So I asked Copilot to do that for me. And this is the output result. So it basically combined those 2 like the same issue, and it provide me like this is applicable to model A and B, and here's like the text to model A, and this is for model B, and so on. So that saved me a lot of hours. If I had to do that manually, it took like maybe 5 minutes and saved me like about like 2-3 hours of writing these and reorganizing everything. And even though I can show like the track change, just you have an idea. Yeah, I want to share that. It's really useful when like inside those apps.
Awesome. Awesome. I love to see Copilot saving time. That's awesome. Thank you so much for that. I see Matt's hand is up. Go ahead, Matt.
I was just going to follow up on the trying to make it sound more like a real person. So I shared an agent in the chat. It's a draft partner. And so there's 6 suggested prompts that I kind of bounce around when trying to get more of a personal touch to some of the reactions. So I think it helps to just kind of like, have Copilot think in slightly different ways instead of just a generic, like, sound like a person.
Hmm. Awesome. Thank you for that, Matt. It's in Asia. Awesome. Okay, Matt. Okay, we have 83, well, I don't know, including me and Marco, but we have over 80 champions. I know some of you have been using Copilot and found some ways. Don't be shy. We're all here just to learn and have some fun. Oh, I see some more hands going up. Okay, go ahead. I'll shut up. At the first hand up is Mara. Am I saying that right? Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah,
All right,
hi.
awesome.
Hi, more. Yeah. Okay, give me just a minute. I will share. Now, I am sharing customer data, so everyone please be mindful of that. But we work in I work in the WorkSmart team, and so we support customer entry of their products into the software, which is then shared across the supply chain. So this is an example of a cosmetic that comes in all these different shades. You can see at the bottom, 4N, 4C. And if you think of a cosmetic, it might be like a darker red and then a little bit lighter red, and it goes all the way, 4W might almost be like a pink or something. And so what our team has to do is go kind of page by page, ingredient by ingredient, and identify like the similar ingredients. What's the minimum of that ingredient in each product? What's the maximum? And so we ended up coming up with something like this, where we have the chemical product, the name, and then these are each of the shades. I think we're looking at the 3s here. And so we get the maximum, I think is what the request was for each of the shades. So we have to enter this data still into the software, but instead of having to go across, dozens of tabs and kind of filter through, like, look, you can see how much data is in here. We don't need all of this data for this particular piece. But then really what I also wanted to point out is it took a while to get this right with Copilot. And so at the end, like some of you are talking about the prompts, at the end I said, okay, tell me when I want to do this again, tell me the best way to ask it. So this is the prompt that it gave me. And again, you can see that it's still not like a super simple prompt, even with Copilot itself streamlining it for us. But it's been great. And then we've started within the team some Copilot prompts. And so we can share these prompts so that, we've got the goal of the prompt and then the prompt itself. So that was one win. And then I'll just share, because I'm already sharing, we look at customer tickets, support tickets. And so I had just all of the support tickets year to date. And I asked it for the top 10 reasons, and we have categories. And so, and actually I'll open this up. It's neat. This didn't used to save, I think, when we first started, but now I can see that within Excel, all of the requests are saving. So that's been really nice to go back and see that. But I asked it for a top 10, and then I said, give me, I don't know, 5 or 6 additional insights. And so just on its own, it came up with, hey, here are some things, how are your ticket status distribution, some key metrics in terms of percentage of tickets, what's your ticket volume by month. And so it was nice without me necessarily even having a full idea of what data I wanted to look at. It gave me some additional insight. So that was really helpful.
Thank you, Brian. That was awesome. Let's give her a round of applause and everyone that's gone so far. My apologies. I meant to say it after everyone. That was awesome. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
It's great to see you all getting the value out of Copilot. I know it's a way you have to deal with Copilot. You have to deal with Copilot to get the best output. So next we have up to the mic is Mark. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, sorry, I won't be able to show it right now. I'm joining via mobile, but really like the opportunity to share here. Yeah, I use Copilot for the most common thing we do, right? Email. So what I have Copilot do every time is at the end of the day, I ask it to do a summary of my mailbox, which I have already responded to. Those that were addressed to me, or those that I am involved with. in terms of the actions and give me a summary of how I responded to them, right? And then from there, I utilize Copilot in another agent to actually do kind of a coach in terms of how I can improve responding to those emails, and also as a way for me also not to miss out key emails that I could have missed out when I was reading through my mailbox or was responding to it, but it seems like I wasn't able to answer fully what the concern was. So really, that's where the utility of Copilot, at least for me, for most of the tasks that I do, plays a lot around collaboration and communication with um, internal and external stakeholders.
Awesome, Mark. Thanks for sharing that. Let's give Mark a round of applause as well. It's popping up. Okay. Next, we have Tammy up to the microphone.
Well, thank you. And guys, you guys are sharing all kinds of great ideas. I love that. And I'm just going to say, first of all, I am not a new to the workforce. I'm actually on the downhill side of my career, but I love this tool. This has been a game changer in terms of productivity. So let me just start there. I love Copilot. It has become my best friend in the workplace. I've used it to do a lot of pretty sophisticated data gathering and sort of categorization, and to build some pretty sophisticated lifecycle management playbooks. Searched the internet across the world about how to prioritize needs from certain stakeholder communities. So it's done a lot of really heavy duty lifting for me. The thing that I struggle with are the simple things like, I just gave it a prompt today. I have this very long document I'm working on, and it's like all these different font sizes and stuff like that. I gave it a prompt, make everything Arial 9 point. It could not do that. It cannot resize a table. It cannot remove section breaks. And so I guess my question for this group is, have you guys figured out ways to do those kinds of really simple things that I would feel like you've just created this like 25-page playbook for me, but you cannot resize the font in my document? Like it's a little bit hard for my brain to kind of align those two things. So I would love if people have suggestions about how to do those things, because like I don't want to go and have to like copy all or like, just like roll through a very lengthy document to remove all the section breaks. Like I feel like Copilot should be able to do that for me, but it can't. So that's my question. It's not really a suggestion or a win. It's really a question.
Thank you, Tammy. And I am I am there with you. I agree with you 100%. That is my biggest pet peeve with Copilot.
I
It drives me
don't get
crazy.
it.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. It's like it's so simple. It should be able to do
Yeah.
this thing. It's done this
Yeah.
really hard thing for me, and now I can't really do this simple thing. I don't
Yeah.
know. So I would
Does
love
any
some thoughts.
This group may have it. Has anyone figured out how to get Copilot to be able to format things in the applications that it's used to? And if your hand is up
Uh,
to give an answer, just hop on the mic because I can't distinguish who is next or who
yeah,
wants to give an answer.
Della, at least in my case, I did some work around that, like formatting documents and whatnot, based on whatever parameter I'd like it to do. Usually, if you like paste it in Copilot directly, it
Mm,
would have some issues. It would like to directly work on inside the document. You may
mhm.
ask it to produce an output based on an original content that you have, and then convert it to whatever your request is. Like font face should be Arial, do a 9.5 font size and whatnot. It should be able to do that at the very least, based on my experience. What error are you getting at the very least?
It just doesn't
Or
do it. It will tell me that it's not able to do it. And that is, in fact, how I've approached it, right? It's like I have it create the output, put it in a Word document so I can access it and download it. And then inside the Word document, I'll say, reformat or resize or, remove section breaks. And it says, oh, I can't really do that. And I just got some
Mm,
wording. It's a little bit nicer than that. But I have
I
not been
think
able to get it to do those simple things.
How
yeah,
big is the document?
Yeah, that's the next
It's
thing.
yeah, like 20 pages. So it's
Yeah,
a big
so
document, which is
yeah,
Usually,
why I don't want to do it. I want Copilot to do it for me.
it,
So
it usually can work singular pages very
okay,
well, but if you start using it for multiple pages, that's where it starts giving you an error. I cannot do that and whatnot.
okay,
So
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
try it
It's
yeah.
on lesser pages first.
Okay, thank you. But
Yeah,
see,
or
I think it
you
should
can
really
try
do
to
this.
process it in like batches, right? So if
Okay,
you've got a really long document, you can ask it to do it one section at a time, because it can only see so much in a given
okay,
document. Where I've tried like document translation and it errors out after, or it tells me it can't because it can only see up to a certain
okay.
section. It says it's
All right.
truncated after section 11.6. I can't do it.
Okay.
So
Well, good to
that's
know. Thank you
yeah.
for that. Because I'm like, damn, this thing should be able to do this. So
Thank you, Tammy. Let's a
thank
round of
you.
applause for Tammy. That's I'm there with you, Tammy. I yell at the computer. Thank you all who answered. We appreciate that. Who do we have next? David? Is it David? Am I pronouncing
Yes,
that right?
yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
them. I would love to share a similar feedback as Tammy, sort of frustration feedback. As it very strange, I did manage to fulfill some very good results with complex agents. Like for example, I built one to analyze the work on end for all our COU, the trend and historical data. So it's rather complex and it's doing it pretty well. So analyzing industry trends and so on. And the same also for orders. I did the same and it is pretty impressive. But on the other hand, when I tried to build a very simple PPT assistant, like providing the template, the official template, and asking to shape something or build up something for me, it fails. So sometimes it puts a logo which is not the same as UL or is not using the original template. So it seems that editing and adding contact to documents, it's not ready yet. So that's my feedback.
Thank you, David. Does anyone have any suggestions or any similar?
Yeah, I I encountered something similar, right? All of us probably wanted to use like the UL official template in a presentation using your content or your outline. You want to convert it to that, right? Um, if you try multiple attempts, usually Copilot just adjusts the template, but it will give you generic templates or other designs. So you really need to be intentional and specific as to you telling it, do not deviate from the
Yeah.
template, use this specific attachment, and you need to feed it back after it gave you the results to tell it this is not the template.
Yes. No, the agent is already, I would say, 70 lines long, but still failing sometimes. So it seems that it's very complicated.
I
Thanks.
can't speak to the agent, but I did one of the one-on-ones, the like office hours with the Microsoft folks, and they acknowledge that PowerPoint is kind of a weak link, and that, it's still improving. Their suggestion was as much as possible, and again, agent aside, David, to create the content in Word, let's say, so you have an outline or something, and then copy that into So open up your PowerPoint, open up Copilot in PowerPoint and paste in what you want. So, take this outline and make it into a 5-slide presentation for my manager or for, my coworkers. And I have had really great success doing it that way. So creating the content as much as possible outside of PowerPoint and then copying it into the Copilot instance within PowerPoint. So you already have the template open, it already has everything there. That has worked really well for me. And then once it's in there, I really haven't had problems adjusting things. So, put this in alphabetical order or condense slides 2, 3, and 4 down to 1 slide. I've had really good luck with PowerPoint recently, keeping those things in mind.
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Thank you all. A round of applause. Thank you, David, for that question or that concern, and thank you all who answered. Jacob, you're up next.
Okay, let me share my screen. So I talked about this agent a little bit in the win and use cases chat. It's the standard learning coach. So you can upload any standard. So I uploaded my UL 1203, which is the standard I work in most of the time. And because I'm new, I've only been at UL for like about a year. I'm very new to the standards. I'm very new to like how all these stuff operate. So this is very useful to me. So you upload the standard and it kind of like breaks things down in a very easy to understand chunks. Like you have phase 1, you have phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. They kind of like group it in sections that make it easy to understand. And the cool thing about this is that it explains exactly what it means in standard English. So instead of like the standard like the standard English, it breaks it down to like more basic English. And as you read the text, it will kind of like give you some details, and then in order to jump ahead to the next section, you have to go to a knowledge check. And if you fail the knowledge check for any of the questions, instead of going to the next section, it will actually break down the question that you missed and explain why you missed it, or how to explain it better, or kind of provide you more details. And instead of going to the knowledge check, you can also ask more details about that section. As you can see here, I asked an additional question, and it breaks it down into very easy to understand chunks. I find it very useful for me. And the cool thing about this coach is that I didn't design it just for one standard. I designed it for any standard. All I gotta do is upload it to the agent, and it will start teaching you. And that's all I have currently. I've been using this a lot, but with the 30-day rule thing, it's deleted a lot of my chats. So I just created one here to demonstrate.
That's awesome, Jacob. Thank you. That's awesome. Clapping going on while you were presenting. This is awesome. This is you all are doing a great job finding the value in Copilot. Next, Gabriella, you're up to the mic.
Hey, hello everyone. So I have one question, and I was not able to attend some other calls, but maybe there was already a solution. So now that we don't have record and transcribe available, how can we ask a Copilot to make notes about our meetings, which might be very, very, very useful, and take notes about the actions and so forth, and so on and so forth? Is there a way, even if we don't have record and transcribe, or nothing at all?
Has anyone discovered a workaround for what
Yeah, you
Gabrielle is
can.
asking?
You can. You just have to, when you set up the invite, you have to make sure to turn on the option for Copilot. So whoever sets up the meeting has to actually make that an option. And then once you join the meeting, you'll have the option to utilize Copilot within the meeting.
But I tried that, but it was not working. It was not transcribing anything.
The transcription also has to be on in order for the agent to be able to utilize the Copilot functionality. So they have to have Copilot turned on and transcription.
So I turned it on. I will try again, Adrian, and let's see. But it was, if I'm not wrong, it was stating that without recording, he was not able to transcribe the meeting and create an action plan. But okay, I will try again and let you know if it's working. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Isn't this an ongoing issue with transcription? We're not sure if it will be active or not. I thought we were discussing that in a different string. Do we know if everyone will get transcription?
We don't have an answer as of yet.
Okay.
I've asked Niv to have, once legal and HR comes to a final decision, to have them make an announcement if they're not turning it on, or whatever the requirements are for them to make that announcement, so we understand their reasoning behind whatever decision they made. At this point, we're still waiting for them to make the final decision so that we can get started on the training and the processes that will go along with it. Copilot, in my opinion, I don't know how you use it without the recordings and the transcriptions, to your point, Gabriella, because they're not enabled for anyone. So in terms of getting those key insights from the meetings, it needs the transcription to do that. So I don't know if you could do that without it. Honestly, I haven't found a workaround for that as of yet. So still more to come.
We tried to use meeting facilitator or whatever it's called, but it just is lacking. And I think it's all due to that inability to use transcription.
Yes.
So basically, as of today, it's not possible for us to transcribe and use Copilot to make minutes and action plans after calls, right? We still need to do it manually or ask someone to do it. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I mean, you could ask the facilitator to do some of those things, but it wouldn't generate them automatically.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like if you give the facilitator in a meeting the agenda and ask it to track it, it'll loosely track kind of times for those things, but not as well as it does when transcription's turned on.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriella, for your question. I see another hand up. Martin?
Yeah, sorry, it's just in the transcription thing. I was just looking around, and if you go to Teams and click the three dots for more, you can actually do a language and speech, and you can do captions. So from that captions, you can then potentially take that output and then put that through Copilot for some facilitating thing where it gives you a synopsis of the meeting. I don't know where that kind of lies in the UL legality, because you're essentially using captions instead of transcription, right? But that looks like that facility is there for now.
Yeah, one of the problems with using captions is that it has a limited buffer, very limited.
I see. Okay. I think I've seen some other people, this is not something I've personally done, but I think some other people that I've seen are using some screen recording system somewhere. I don't know if it's UL sanctioned or not, and then potentially taking that and using the output of that to get meeting notes and synopsises too. But again, I don't know where that kind of lies within the UL legality, so wouldn't want to be something that I heavily promote.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you for your feedback. Okay, so any other questions, concerns, issues you ran into, workarounds you found to be helpful? Kelly, see your hand up?
Yeah, I was just gonna show some of my automations if you wanted.
All right.
So I've been using Copilot a little differently. I've been using it to write code, specifically in Visual Basic, so that it runs in Excel. And I've been using this very successfully to take a lot of the time-consuming tasks we had on our team and automate them. So this is one example I made for our team in Taiwan. And again, I'm gonna use the customer's thing here as an example. But so customer places order for labels, right? And Oracle generates this basically like a pick slip of everything that they've ordered. And then what our team was having to do, sorry, it's a little laggy with the sharing, but what our team had to do was then from that pick slip, they had to copy and paste the information for the customer as well as all the item descriptions into an Excel template for not only the customs invoice, right, but then also the packing list that it goes in as well. So this was pretty time consuming because they deal with several customers, several orders a day. So they were having to copy and paste, and obviously, right, that creates errors. So what I did is I automated that process so that you click the button, you drop your pick slip in with those blank forms, and it runs. It's going to pop up. It's going to I made a drop down for which carrier they're using. So it'll populate which carrier on the sheet, and it's going to do its little thing while it's processing. And then it gives you you're all done. And then here is the completed forms. They now have the customer's information on them, as well as the shipping information, copied over the order information, and then it's copied down all the lines of the items, the prices, the weight, all that stuff with it. That, and then here's the packing list. So that's saved them a tremendous amount of time. So that's one example. And then this is another one I did, which is more geared towards helping management. Is this okay? So we have to do regular inventory, right? So we pull a report for what we have on hand from Oracle, this kind of master report, and then what we have to do is we get a report from our label vendors of what they have for inventory for the various label item numbers. And as you can see, there's a lot of them. And what was happening is these were having to be manually compared because the serial numbers are spaced differently. The lot numbers, they don't use a leading zero. We do, that kind of stuff. All those little nuances that make comparison difficult. So they were having to spend hours just trying to do a manual comparison. So what I did is, again, I created a macro that you just drop in the two forms and it does all the processing itself. And then what I had it do is it pulls the information into the one, and then it compiles, it highlights the ones where there's a discrepancy. It tells you what the discrepancy is, and then it tells you who's over, whether our vendor's over or we're over, and it pulls it all to the top of the form for easy reference. So this has saved, at least a dozen hours just in the 2 months I've got it up and running. So this is what I've been using Copilot for, and I had to pull a separate list of ones where we keep labels, the vendor doesn't, such as for our field evaluations and stuff. Did all that with Copilot. I wouldn't have been able to do it without Copilot. So this is my successful story for them. And I like these because regardless what happens with the features of Copilot, like transcription and things like that, whatever gets taken away, even if Copilot gets taken away, the time that I put into building these automations is untouched. These things will still continue to work for our team regardless of any changes. So that's where I've really found value. And as you can see, I've made quite a few of these in just a few months since we've had Copilot. So that's all. I just want to show that because that's where I really found a lot of value is being able to automate our own processes using Copilot.
Wow, Kelly, that's awesome. Wow.
I told you I was doing something.
You're doing something over there.
It's old school because it's VBA. I went through, for transparency, I went through what was then AMR, which was the automation machine learning robotics program you all had, and I did all the training for Power Automate, Power Apps. I was building a bunch of stuff in Power Automate, stuff like that, and then I built a lot of these kind of things for our team, and then the company came and took access to that away a year later. So those 500 some hours a year I saved that the team had since then replaced with other work got put back on the team. So I was determined when Copilot and all that came out to make sure I didn't repeat the same mistakes and really kind of try to use it to create things that were hardened against change, right? If something happens with Copilot, it becomes cost prohibitive, right? There's security issues with it, things like that, and we lose access to it. I didn't want to lose access to all of the things that I had built to make my team's life better. So that's why I really focused this time on trying to use it to implement tools that were sustainable, even if AI went away. So that's kind of where I was coming from with these.
Oh, that's awesome. Kelly was on a mission. Don't put Kelly on the mission. Kelly, when I have a mission, I'm gonna put you on it. I'm putting you on it, Kelly. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's what I do. Sleeper over here.
I love it. Thank you, Kelly, for that. So I don't see any more hands up. Has anyone had any used Claude, changed the version to Claude and had any success with that? I've changed it in PowerPoint and I love it. more than keeping it on Microsoft. Benjamin, see your hand up?
Yeah, I've used that not that exactly. I changed for a specific project that I'm working on to Claude because it's better at coding type work. And so what we're doing is we have to convert a bunch of test report forms that are in PDF formats into our report writing tool format. And there's for this specific project, about 50 reports we have to convert, which, from PDF to any other format is always a challenge because the data that is stored in PDF isn't easily copyable, right? And so what I had done was, rather than I tried initially to use kind of Kelly's approach using VBA and Excel, and that worked okay. But really where I needed help was populating the test table templates. And so I did use Copilot with setting it to Claude Opus as the format that or the model to use. And for me, I mean, it was definitely a kind of learning process. It's sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but for the most part, it's been pretty successful. So when it runs, let me share my screen here as I find the window that I want to share. Here it is. So I've got this. So it ends up running in a command line. So it's generating a Python script for me that runs just a series of scripts. And it runs through each of these processes, pulling and scraping data out of a PDF. And the output for me ends up dumping to a folder where I've got these populated templates. And there's definitely some where it's, the output's not 100%, but it's definitely closer. So for instance, our temperature table, there's parts of it that get pulled in that obviously shouldn't be there, or characters are missing, but the data that I would normally have to copy out of a PDF or convert it to Word, then copy it from one document to another, lands in this template already. And then I'm able to take that directly into our report writing tool and import it directly. It takes a lot of the overhead of manual copy paste, fixing of data. It cuts down a lot of that. And I didn't find it successful just having Copilot set to auto. There was a lot of misses, but switching it to Claude, specifically Opus, it was definitely something that worked out a lot better. And then it's just from there, it's been refining and, giving it the outputs and the inputs, and then the actual code that it's generated back to itself and telling it what the issue is, then, tweaking from there. And so you end up with, a workable solution that does save time, but it's definitely not something that's always in Copilot. It's not something I'm going to run this out of Copilot. This is something that now that it's generated, I've been running this on reports during this call just in the background, and it processes a single TRF in about 5 minutes or so. It gets kind of the rough conversion, and then I can go through and do my cleanup before importing into our tool.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Benjamin.
Sure.
Thank you.
Hey, Dylan.
Annie. Okay, go ahead, Kelly.
It's Kelly. Hey, Ben, are you a coder? Do you have coding experience?
I wouldn't define it as being a coder. I've done it before, more with VBA than anything else, but I'm comfortable kind of diving into it if I need to. But yeah, troubleshooting, I can take these, opening up these Python scripts and troubleshoot on my own if need be. But for the most part, it's taken a lot of the heavy lift out of it because I can put the code back into Copilot and say, this is what we're working with. Here's the output, and then describe what the issue is, and then it can suggest some edits based on that.
Okay. I just wanted to because I saw Tori's comment. So I did the Power Automate and the Power App stuff, right? So when I came to use Copilot and how to do this, that was one of the things I said, man, Copilot, I want to do these automations, but it's locked out to me now. So what can I do? And Copilot said VBA. And I was like, what? That thing from like 20 years ago? And he said, yeah, it still works. And I said, I've never used it before. So just for you people that are like, oh, this techie stuff, Copilot told me how to do it step by step. I had not messed with it. It told me how to turn on the developer tab. It told me how to do the, Alt F11 to get to the screen. It told me exactly where to put it in. So if you are interested in building something like this, like any kind of automation, Copilot, I think that is part of the value too that I missed that I wanted to express, right? I am a computer nerd, like computer games. I'm not a coder. I'm not a software person like that. So I came into this just with, I like techie stuff, but I don't know how to do it. And Copilot taught me in a day and a half how to do VBA code. And once I started with one, that built the foundation where I was able to do it. So now there are some things where it tells me like, hey, do this or that, and I know where to go in to fix those things, right? I kind of now have a better idea how to format it and stuff like that I knew nothing about when I first started. So it is like any new thing, it's easy to learn, and that is because of Copilot. I would not have been able to do this without Copilot. I would have had to go to like the VBA. It used to be like a semester in college. Now you can learn it through Copilot in a couple of days. And then when I have an issue, if I get an error on the macro or something like that, I literally screenshot it and it'll highlight the part in your code where it's an error. I screenshot the error, I screenshot the highlight, I drop it in Copilot and I say, hey, your code's not working, dude, fix it. And then it goes, oh, my bad. And it gives me the new code to fix and drop in. So I just want to say that because I know some people, they look at this stuff and they're like, oh my gosh, you're so good at this and all that. No, I'm just curious, and I have learned how to kind of leverage the tool to do this kind of stuff. But it literally is, it's Copilot solving this problem. So I just wanted to put that out there for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a similar experience where it's when something doesn't work as expected, even if it's just, the command line throwing an error, like I don't know what that means. It's telling me what lines of code and I can go look, but I'm not familiar enough to know, oh, that actually needed to be indented 4 spaces and I didn't realize it wasn't. But I can post the error into the chat and it says, hey, you need to indent this line. Or it'll just say, here's, a whole new script, just copy it in and save over and start again. And it works after that. It's that kind of thing. So
yeah. So I just wanted to make sure that was like clear to a lot of people that are like me. They're like, I would, you're seeing the back end of it, right? You're seeing the solution. You're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I was a dummy coming into this. I didn't know. It taught me how to do that. So it can do that for you too. If you have no idea what this is or how it's taught, just talk to Copilot and say, hey, I saw an automation. I want to build an automation in Excel too for this thing. Tell me how to do it. It'll tell you how to do it. No worries. Anybody can do this.
Yep.
So
one of the things that
my team.
I was going to say, one of the things that I found, though, it's only as good as its knowledge base. So we have another tool that I ran into some problems with, and I tried to search for it, and it didn't give me anything that was of value because it didn't know anything about the tool. So, it's even, I assume it's going out and gathering information from the global internet, and it didn't have anything for that. So there is a limit in that regard.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you, Kelly, and thank you, Benjamin, for that. I have used Copilot for Power Automate. I love Power Automate, but I always run into an error when I go to run the flow, and Copilot has really helped me with that. So let me see some thumbs up if you all would want some more sessions like this. We can put some more on the calendar. Maybe we'll make it a little more structured. You can submit if you want to come before, if you want to present beforehand, we can maybe organize it by productivity, time save, and things like that. I'll send a quick, I'm not gonna do it now, but I saw some thumbs up. I like this exchange. I like that you all brought what worked for you, some things you were building, some things you were working on, and even some of your issues. And that's what the champion community is all about. If anyone else has any questions, raise your hand. If not, I can give you about 14 minutes of your time back. But thank you all who attended. Thank you all who presented. Mara, I see you coming off chat. I mean,
Oh, just gonna, no, sorry, I was just gonna say thank you at the end.
Okay.
Sorry.
You're ready. Thank you. Thank you all. I appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your week.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
Stella.
you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye
Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.